What's up, guys? Saul here, and today I'm just doing a sort of last minute office hours stream. It wasn't really planned. I actually was out with my friends, and then before going to sleep, I decided it might as well just stick my neck out and see what happens. So we'll see, we'll see how the activity level is right now. If you are in Korea, it is almost 1 a.m. You should not be awake. You should just be sleeping at this point. But if you need me to talk you down, to calm you out, or to calm you down, or something like that, okay, I'll try to do my best. Now, today, it is the last day before the SAT, so I am getting a bunch of YouTube comments and Discord chats. So I want to kind of go over those one by one. I'll be just going through those, unless you guys ask me questions in the chat. If you do ask me questions in the chat, I'll come back to those as soon as I'm finished with whatever's in front of me. Give me a second right now. I just want to update my little sidebar. Ask me anything. I'll be focused on YouTube comments and Discord chats. But I'll get to you when I can. Yep. It is 12 p.m. in Canada, and it's Friday and 12 p.m. and you're not in school. So that's interesting. It's October. Shouldn't you be in school? I was thinking of doing another stream tomorrow for the US / America's kids. All right. Anyway, I'm going to go and look over some of these video. Whoa, I'm about to sneeze. It's not... My sneeze... It's not coming out. Oh, whoa, my head. Okay.
And it makes it sound like only the second reason is the one.
All right. Extremely confusing what's happening. Okay. Could you explain number 21? Wait, what? I think I replied to all these. Also, my Chrome is acting a little weird right now on stream, so let me refresh this and see what happens. Oh, okay, so there's actually not that many Okay, yeah, I basically replied to all these. So we're good. So I don't think I have to do any YouTube comments right now. I think I'm caught up. I'm seeing some questions in the chat right now. Do I have a... Man, I'm tired. Okay, so I'm gonna be a little bit mumbly. Just, excuse the mumbles. First question from Abiram. Do you have any advice for managing the reading section when the time gets too tight? Well, the thing is, kids always think about the time management in terms of time, but time is not a controllable output per se. The thing that you can control, okay, is not necessarily how much time it takes for you to finish a passage in the aggregate. The thing that you can control is how fast you decide to be wait, this question, it's way over my head. I should circle it and skip it and return. Now, the amount of time you waste before you finally make a decision, oh my God, this question is super hard. I should probably just come back to it later, right? The amount of time you waste there is the thing that you can control. And in the aggregate, what happens is, as long as you are pretty quick to make that decision, hey, I'm going to skip this question because I know that from my, past 5 practice tests, I know that my recent average has been, 40 out of 52. I get minus 12. Now, minus 12 means that I get somewhere between 2 and 3 questions wrong per passage. Okay? So that means that even if I spend a lot of time on this question, statistically, it's very likely that I'm still going to get it wrong. whether I spend 1 minute on it or like 5 minutes on it, right? So, do I want to waste all of my time on this one question? Maybe you do, because maybe you're just a perfectionist and you're gonna spend 5 minutes on one question. And then what's gonna happen is that you're gonna finish the first passage in 14 minutes. You're gonna finish the second passage in 17 minutes. And then you're gonna be like, I'm fucking screwed. So then you're gonna just rush the rest of the school, or rush the rest of the test for the other three passages, right? The thing that it's really hard to control the time in the aggregate. It's much easier to control the time it takes for you to just circle, skip, and return. So, do I have any advice for managing the reading session when the time gets too tight? The fact is, you shouldn't ever feel that time is too tight as long as you're moving forward on the overly hard questions pretty quickly. Then you should never feel that feeling at all. So, don't focus so much on managing it when time is already too tight. That's already too late. Okay? If time is already tight, now it's going to just happen. You're going to start rushing the passages. You're going to start rushing the question stems. So many things are going to fall apart. Okay? So the fact that you're even in there in the first place is already a very bad sign. You should have, by the time that time was already too tight, you should have already decided, okay, question 8 and 9 and 14 and 19, they were just really ridiculously hard. I should have just let them go. I shouldn't have sunk 3 minutes or 2 minutes into every single one of those. That's a waste of my time, right? So if you are, that said, maybe you do find out way too late. And if you find out way too late, my best advice is, hey, it's okay. Okay, let's say maybe you finished 3 passages and you realize you're already at 40 minutes. So now you only have 25 minutes for the last 2 passages. Hey, it's okay. Triage, focus on the easiest questions. So that means that realistically on the 4th passage, which is history, let's say, realistically on the 4th passage, you can aim at maybe, normally you were getting -3 on the history passages, right? Something like that. So then just aim at -4. Just be like, okay, out of 10 questions, I'm going to try to get 6, right? Because you know what? You wasted your time on the first 3 passages. So just don't aim at 7 anymore. You have to aim at 6. Like, lower your sights. Focus on the easy ones. Okay? Don't sink all of your time into the hard ones once you've already wasted all that time up front. Right? And then now it's the final passage. It's the dual passage, science passage or whatever, right? Again, maybe on the dual science, you're normally getting -2. Well, this time you're aiming at -3. You're aiming at 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 11 or whatever, right? You're aiming at that because why? Because you should be honest with yourself. You wasted that time on the first 3 passages. So now you're going to have to be more realistic about what you're going to get on the next 2 passages. Just aim down, and focus on getting the easy ones out of the way. Easy/medium difficulty ones out of the way. Sacrifice the hard ones, okay? If you keep wasting time on the hard ones, you're going to get even more easy and medium difficulty questions wrong just because you're rushing. No, I'm not sick. Rafai, thank you for asking. Although I do look probably a little red. I'll just be honest. I was hanging out with my friends. We had a couple drinks. Tasdeeq. Hey Saul, I can't decide if I want to perfect math or focus on English since I got 9 wrong on the entire math section, but way more wrong on the English. What do I recommend? Are you talking about by tomorrow or are you talking about by December? Tasdeeq, I'm just going to ask you a question real quick. Are you aiming at December right now? Because if you are, or if you're aiming at October, that would totally change like my whole response to this. So just confirm that. I'm going to move on to Ali. So Ali is saying, my question that's bothering me, how do I check my math questions? I know I'm going to make some dumb mistake. How do I get ahead of that? Ali, did you watch my upload from earlier today about the order of operations? The main thing for you is to just operationalize, okay, to make a sort of process that you can use on every single question that's repeatable and adaptable to the difficulty of the question, okay? You want to have a pretty robust system for attacking a question, and it should be repeatable. The problem is that most kids, when they're making dumb mistakes, is because they have a very erratic approach and very crashy approach to every single question, right? Sometimes they'll read the question stem kind of carefully. Sometimes they'll rush the question stem because they're feeling panicked. Sometimes they're going straight into process elimination. Sometimes they're actually making predictions about what, and they change the approach to every single question literally multiple times within a single sitting. You don't want to be doing that because every time you change your strategy mid-test, you're actually exposing yourself to more dumb errors, to more careless mistakes. So operationalize, make it repeatable over and over and over and over again. You can just use the same skills, the same habits, the same flows. And I have a whole video on this that I just published or that I just uploaded like earlier today, order of operations. It's kind of long, right? It's like 25-minute video, I think, something like that. But you can watch that at like 1.5 speed. Go watch that and see how that works for you. Okay. Now I'm going back to, let's see, Tasdeeq. Rafai is saying, if I'm honest with myself, then I will be able to be delusional. That's true. That is kind of the problem with being honest. you can't be delusional. Okay, so Abhiram is saying he gets it. So while attempting, I read and understand at my normal pace, and if I think a question hard, you leave it within 10 or 20 seconds. I mean, if you really get down into it, 10, 20 seconds, I think that is one way of approaching it. And I strongly recommend trying it. So if you're international right now, Abhiram, I don't know what part of the world you're in, but if you're like literally going to take the test in like 9 hours, then honestly, just go with whatever feels right. But if you have a couple more hours, you have more hours than that, right? If you're in like the Western Hemisphere, then maybe one thing you could do is just like take a practice test and see, like kind of check your gauge, right? Like how quickly should I move on from hard questions, right? Just like test it, like see how fast you can move on and still feel comfortable, okay? Because the faster you are, the more time you save. So, because you gotta be honest with yourself, right? If you're normally getting like 36 out of 52, like that is what 16 questions wrong. That's like 2 questions wrong even on the easiest passage for you, and like 4 or 5 questions wrong on the hardest passage for you, depending on like how the spread goes out, right? So that means there's many questions that you can actually save time on by just being like, you know what, this is probably one of those questions I'm gonna get wrong, right? So I'm just gonna make a guess. It's just I'm gonna eliminate maybe 2 of them, and I'm gonna go with 50-50, and that's gonna be the best I can do. You gotta be honest with that. And the more honest you are with that, the faster you can move on from it. And the faster you can move on from it, the faster you can finish the 5 passages within like, let's say like 60 minutes. Then you have 5 extra minutes to go back, and it's like bonus time. Now you can go back to some of the hard questions, and then let's say there's like 10 hard questions. You can focus on like 3 or 4 of them, right? And just those 3 or 4, if you get like 2 of them right, that's 2 points better than you normally would have gone. That 2 points better than you normally would have gotten because you just moved on. You didn't waste all your time on them. So yeah, that's my 10-20 seconds. I would say is a little fast. Okay, I would say it's more like 45 seconds, something like that. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a little bit of process elimination. Depends on how hard the question is, but basically you're gonna do some process elimination, and then you're gonna guess 50-50, right? So yeah, tweak it, work with it, see what actually works for you. Okay. Tasdeeq is aiming for October. I don't know if perfecting is the right verb for the October test, Tasdeeq, because how are you gonna perfect your math test if you're getting -9 wrong between now and tomorrow? That's like insane. So Tasdeeq, if your focus shouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna do this good on the math test and this good on the reading test. Like you're literally gonna take it tomorrow. Your focus should be, I'm gonna just do the best that I can using all of the experience that I've built up, using all the lessons that I've learned in the last couple months, and making sure to perform at my best capacity by operationalizing, by creating a repeatable and adaptable system for attacking every single question. I'm going to have a pretty solid order of operations, and I'm just going to go with that. I'm not going to change my strategy midway. I'm not going to change my approach midway. I'm not going to change my order midway. I'm not going to do anything new. I'm going to just do what I know what works for me, right? And you're just gonna commit to that, right? You've done all the training in the last couple months or whatever, or last couple weeks, depending on your situation, right? Just use the best of your training. Don't suddenly have a new like if you've been training boxing for like 3 months, don't suddenly go into wrestling when you're in the match. That's insane. You're gonna lose. You're gonna get your face smashed in. All right, so just do that. But congratulations on already having a high enough score for your target school. That's good. Which types of questions do you recommend? Fadi is asking me which types of questions I recommend starting with on the. Fadi, it seems like you don't really know my strategy, but the strategy I recommend is reading the passage first and then going through the questions one by one and then skipping the hard ones and then coming back to the hard ones later. So but right now I feel like for your question assumes that you're going to start with the questions first. And hey, if that's your strategy, if that's the strategy you've been practicing for the last couple of weeks or months, just go with that. And obviously you want to go with the questions that you know what you're looking for. So like the big the ones that direct you to a line or the definition ones, I mean, both of them direct you to a line. The definition ones also direct you to a line. So I would just start with all of those, right? Just in order. If question 3 is a vocab and context one, just do that. And then if question 4 is like a line reference one, just do that. Conversely, if question 3 is a line reference one, just do that first. And then if question 4 is a vocab and context one, just do that next, right? So just go in order based on like, hey, does this question make sense to me? Do I feel like I can answer it? I don't think the question is like, it doesn't help you to be like, what type of question is this? Don't ask yourself what type of question it is. Ask yourself, can I answer this question quickly? Like, if you can answer it quickly, just do it right there. Don't push it off, right? Just work with whatever is in front of you if you're using the question first strategy. Vonify, your SAT got canceled, so you have to. Oh, Vonify, were you the one with the hurricane situation? Ah, man, that sucks. Is there any difference in the test? I mean, there is a difference in the test, as in you're not going to get the same test, but it's the same test in terms of like the kinds of questions that come out. I mean, it's still the same SAT. Like, of course, you're not going to get the same passages. You're not going to get the same questions, but the approach that you should have is exactly the same approach. So focus on your order operations, build that out, and just smash that. The ambassador of the mulatto race. Okay, it's an interesting name. Hello, ambassador. Should they include questions about attaining Bush on these tests? Please do not attain Bush on these tests. You got other things that you're a little busy for the Bush. Okay, so focus on what you gotta do. I am bad at moving on. Rafael is saying he's bad at moving on. Yeah, it's something you have to train, and if you didn't train it too much, then don't freak out too much. Just do the best you can tomorrow. I mean, literally it's one day left. Just focus more on, don't focus so much on, like, if I'm telling you something right now and you're like, whoa, that makes sense, but at the same time it makes you feel uncomfortable and like nervous, then screw it. You only have like 12 hours, 18 hours until the test. Forget what I'm saying if it feels uncomfortable for you. You're not going to be able to make any practical output based on what I'm saying, even if it makes sense. You have to focus on the things that give you confidence, not on the things that drop your confidence. Don't, for the love of God, if I say anything that drops your confidence, just throw it away. It's not for you, at least not today. Okay, maybe you can use it on December. Maybe you can use it, I don't know, on some test that's not the SAT. Just don't use it. Don't do anything that freaks you out between now and tomorrow. Okay, stay chill, stay calm. Google Gaga's asking about the history passage. Give me a second. I'm gonna close my door real quick and also just do some little setup around the house. Give me a sec. Get some water. Rafai, I just saw your joke. Um, Bora's, I think, asking me if I'm gonna take the test, and I was supposed to. That was my plan, but due to financial reasons and due to just timing reasons, scheduling reasons, like as an adult, I'm only allowed to take the test in the continental United States. I thought I could take it in Guam. I booked it for Guam. I booked a flight to Guam. Booked a hotel to Guam. I signed up for the SAT in Guam and then I had to cancel all of it because turns out they don't do it in Guam. Then I was looking into Hawaii, but then I was like talking with the college board and I was like, can I do it in Hawaii? And they were like, no, you have to go to you have to go to the continental United States. So that means I had to go to like Seattle, which is like the closest one to me. Now, I could go to Seattle. I mean, my dad's out in Seattle. I could go, but the problem is like the US dollar is so freaking expensive right now. Like I can't. It's so much money for just one test. I literally given my current schedule, I couldn't even really travel. I'd go to Seattle, I'd take the SAT, and just come right back, right? And I was like, God, I want my 1600, but do I want it that badly to just like pay? It's so expensive to go to the United States right now. It's like, is it worth it? And so I decided, especially because I have to move to Vietnam and everything, like it's just too much. So I'm not taking the SAT this time. I really wanted to, but the next time I'll be taking the SAT will be March. Okay, March, which I think, hang on, I'm allowed to take the March US, so I will have to go to the US for my March test next time. Any last tips for the historical passage on the reading section? I mean, history at this point, there's not much you can do. I mean, you got to be honest with this. There's not much you can do other than some of the basics. This is just, this is not going to improve your ability. Just some things to remind you of. When you read the blurb in the history section, you really need to be intentional with that, and you need to think, okay, well, if it's dual passage, think about the dates, think about the potential positions, use the background knowledge that you have, okay? And utilize it as much as possible to have a sort of stereotypical image of what kind of passages will come out. It's okay if the passage that actually comes out is different from your stereotypical image of the debate. You have a stereotypical assumption that the abolitionist is going to say something like, righteousness is on our side, something like that, right? But then it turns out that actually it's talking about that the abolitionist is not talking about like, how successful they're going to be, how God is on their side, how destiny is on their side. Maybe it's not a moral argument. Maybe it ends up being like some technical disagreement with some other abolitionists or whatever, right? It's okay. It's okay if your prediction is off, but just have it in your head, because when you have it in your head, you at least have something to compare it against. When you're reading it, you're sort of like knowing roughly what's happening, okay? Compared to just if you just rush the blurb and you just go in completely naked, you're gonna get lost very fast. So take your time on the blurb. I mean, that's kind of the major difference with history. If you didn't learn to parse grammar, like parse difficult grammar, so that like long sentences, you can break it down into small sentences in your head. If you didn't learn that, you're not going to be able to really learn that today. It's not a lot of time for that. So just work with the grammar ability that you currently have, and yeah, just use your background knowledge as much as possible during the blurb to just sort of forecast what's going to happen. Okay. As long as you don't delude yourself into assuming, oh yeah, I definitely know what's gonna happen. You know, you just like, oh, I think the passages will talk about this, so I'm going to look for this kind of idea, and then as soon as your stereotypical image of what might come out is wrong, just if you can just adjust your expectations accordingly in real time, you should be fine. My cat is yeah, my cats are chilling out out in the living room. Tasdeek, if I take it in NYC, yeah, let's see, March, will I be in the East Coast or will I be in the West Coast? I haven't really decided. I feel like this time I'll be on the West Coast. Yeah, it's just a feeling. Yeah, like my brother's out in New York, so I guess I could be in the East Coast, but probably I'll be in LA or Seattle. It feels unfair to internationals at the history. I mean, Google Gaga, like you are going to an American university, and so I do feel like I do feel like if you're going to an American university, you kind of have to know. Like, I don't think it's unfair for American universities to be like, no American stuff. You know what I mean? Like, democracy is a global concept and everything. So your literacy in the sort of global conversation of democracy is valid. I think the SAT actually incorporates that, and I think I think even if you don't really know some of the details of like American slavery or American feminism, you know, your general understanding of the global democratic discourse over the last like what 400 years, you know, it will still be helpful, and I think you'll still be able to apply it. But the fact that you don't know U.S. history, I mean, philosophically, the College Board like 6 years ago they decided to actually test background knowledge as well. So as part of like the default American academic curriculum, you have to know some history. So I think it's totally valid for them to ask. Yeah, you know, I can't really comment on Finnish and UK universities using the SAT. I guess it's their choice. Wait, that's so funny though. Why do they use the SAT instead of something else? Like, okay, that's something I do not understand. I will not comment on that. That's very interesting. We internationals were taking way too many spots in the U.S. and they just made it. I would not. No, I think honestly, most universities want more international students. Especially like international students from countries that have money, they like love it because universities are so poorly run. And anyway, there's so much. Anyway, so that could get into a whole long conversation. I'm going to skip that. But basically, universities love international students, especially international students who pay full tuition, full American tuition, which is like ridiculous, by the way. I don't know. By the way, if you are watching from the Discord channel, I am paying attention to the streaming chat, so you can jump into the streaming chat, and I'll be answering any questions from the streaming chat. Now I'm looking at what else is Google Gaga saying? Hang on, where? A lot of the qualifications they require are expensive and inaccessible to third world internationals. Third world internationals. It's funny because it kind of sounds like something that Trump might accidentally say. You third world internationals. It's just funny to me. Sorry. I guess that's interesting. The SAT as a pure like pragmatic option for like a UK or Finnish university, being like, hey, we could create a test taking apparatus that extends all around the world and try to make it available to people everywhere. But then it could also just be like, or I guess we could use the SAT. I mean, people give the College Board so much shit, but dude, you try running the fucking College Board. The College Board is running like, dude, there's so many tests, and you have to, like, if anyone's into app development, one of the things you have to realize with app development, for example, is you have to build around bad actors. Okay, people who are gonna try to break your app, who are gonna try to hack your app, who are gonna try to like misuse your app, who are gonna try to make money off your app. It's just, you have to like, and it's just like, in our day-to-day life, we don't think about those people because we're not surrounded by scummy people all the time. But like, when you put something out there in the world, you know, you have all these like bad actors who are just trying to like manipulate things. So basically, for the College Board, the classic is the cheaters. There's cheaters all over the world. You know, cheaters might not even necessarily be the students. It might just be the parents who really want their students to have a good score. So that even the students don't even know they're cheating. They're just like, they just happen to have these like illegal materials, or like the academies they want to cheat. And so the College Board has to have like an immune system full of antibodies, you know, to like deal with all this stuff. And in schools all around the world, it's expensive. It's not easy. You know, people like, I don't love the College Board, dude. I think the quality, I think the direction they're taking the SAT is nonsense. You know, it just makes no sense to me. And you know, I have my own set of criticisms of the College Board, but like, the criticisms of the College Board that I hear on like TikTok and like YouTube, it's so childish. It's so whiny. It's like, God, you fucking run it, dude. Like, you realize how hard it would be? Like, Jesus Christ. All these kids just complaining because they can't get the score they want. Like, come on. Like, it's a good test. I mean, I don't know about the future version of the test. Future version test is like, yes, and by the way, Rafai, their IT department, I feel like they definitely need to invest a little bit more into their actual technological infrastructure. I mean, that's also a major problem. Like why is their website so sucky? You know, why is their survey so garbage, right? I mean, come on, you could clearly improve those experiences. Makes it way easier for students, especially for students who don't have help. Okay, all around the world, there's a bunch of students who are going to figure it out on their own. And if the website sucks, I mean, it's just so much harder. So the College Board could improve on those. But God, like some of these criticisms are so off base. It's so annoying. Anyway, so many schools are going test optional this year. I don't know why. You know what? I think it's honestly nonsense. Like, test optionality is so nonsense. It's just like, dude, data is data. Like, sure, kids freak out, but you know what? Even that's data. Like, if you have like perfect straight A's in your school, but your SAT score is just like kind of like weak, you know, maybe you're just the kind of kid who just like, you know, cracks under pressure. Or maybe your school is just or alternatively, maybe your school is pumping up your GPA because your school is like a very small private school. It just got started and they need to try to like send some kids to like some prestigious university, so they're pumping your GPA up. You know, there's so many things that could happen, right? But data is data, right? If you choke on the SAT, then take the ACT to do something else, right? Like, you gotta like. But like, these schools are just like pretending that like they don't care about tests. Come on, that's nonsense. It makes no sense. College Board, yeah, they definitely paid. Yeah, they definitely paid me to say this. Yeah, I strongly agree. Google Gaga, test optional is stupid. It's stupid, inequitable. I grew up in a very poor family in America. I mean, in America, poor means one thing. In absolute dollar standards, it might not be poor in some parts of the world, but in America, with $10,000 per year for a family of four, there's not a lot you can afford. Okay, you can't afford that much. You can't really have anything for $10,000 a year in America in 2005. And so, I grew up pretty poor. Like, my family was poor, and my family was not well. At least, yeah, it was. We were not well connected. We didn't have like lawyer friends, doctor friends, whatever, like professional, you know, like professor friends. We didn't have those kinds of people in my life, you know, and so I had no guidance other than my public school. That was just, you know, like in terms of their college department, like college consulting department, it was very under resourced. The dude was like, why are you applying to so many schools? I mean, basically, worst college consultant ever. Okay, these test scores, they were one source of truth for me. Like, and they were definitely advantageous for me to be able to focus on the test. Because if I got confused, right? If somebody told me, "Oh, you don't actually have to take the test," and I was like, "I don't," then maybe I wouldn't have. But then, as someone who's not like from a resourced and well-connected background, like then what? Then what? Then I have to have like better essays. I have to have better like some of these kids that I teach in Korea. They have consultants who like will connect them to like science research labs. So then in like their ninth grade to 10th grade summer, they're going to like a science research lab at like a national university, and they're like working with professors. They weren't smarter than me, but they were connected. They were definitely better connected than me, and they were definitely better resourced than me, right? So if you pretend that the tests don't matter, then you're fighting with what, like how much money you have to pay for, like lab research experiences or like study abroad experiences, and like how interesting your life is. Dude, poor people don't know jack shit. You just make the tests. Poor people don't know anything. That's the thing. We don't know anything. I mean, except for the ones that go on YouTube and start figuring it out on their own. But we don't generally know that much. And so you gotta just like make it clear what the standards are. I have a mosquito in the room right now. I have my mosquito. Oh, yes. God, I love these things. Anyway. So going back, anyway, that was my long rant about test optional policy. It's so insane. So annoying. Most high scorers report their scores. That's why scores are so high year over year after 2020. Yeah, I did hear that, and it's an interesting, and like it just makes everything more confusing. God, when I go to like, if I want to apply to Carnegie Mellon, I want to see everyone, like I want to see the average of everyone's test score, so I know if I can actually like. Okay, I'm just using Carnegie Mellon. I like the school. I don't know what their policies are. So, like, let's say I want to go to college, Carnegie Mellon, right? Let's say that only 10% of the students submitted their SAT score and they're the smartest ones. Then I take the SAT for me, and I'm like, wait, what? My score is like way lower than these 10%. Like, it's insane. Like, can I even apply? Especially if you're poor, if you can't like afford consultants, and if your school isn't that well resourced, you're gonna be like, oh, I guess I don't belong at Carnegie Mellon. But maybe you fucking do. Maybe you fucking do. Maybe if they just fucking made everyone apply and take their fucking score, just share their score, maybe you're actually above the average, but we're only looking at the 10%. Oh my God, it's so annoying. I'm pissed. I'm so pissed. I hate test optionality. It's so stupid. Why are the scores so high? Yeah. Please help writing. Dude, I can't help you. Please help writing, dude. Read a book or something. Like, there's so many. How am I supposed to help you with writing? If you could be a little bit more specific, though, I could try to help you. But dude, and reading. Okay, so reading begins with the alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Okay, and then after that, you might want to learn some basic parts of speech: nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. You know what I mean? Learn some of this. Jesus, yo, dude, that question is way too broad. Okay, if you can like narrow down your question a little bit, I think it's better. Tasdeeq, do I lie about my life on the college essay? I would say no. I think there's a longer conversation to be had about that, but I'll just say no. I think it's better to really just. The thing, you know what? I do have one quick explanation for why you shouldn't lie. Most students are not more creative than reality. The fictions that you create will make you less interesting as a person than the reality itself. Struggles, imperfections, the process of dealing with struggles and imperfections. This is way more interesting than some bullshit glossy, like like puff piece about yourself. Okay, so like 99% of students, your fiction is going to be nonsense compared to your reality. Your reality, if you examine it carefully and you think about like, hey, on superficially, this is not a very good number. Maybe this is not a very good accomplishment. Maybe this is not a very good outcome superficially. But what's the meaning of that to me? Right? And if you really thoroughly think through that, oftentimes you will come up with a much more interesting story than if you just like sort of bandaged over it and made it sound like, oh yeah, I got this amazing outcome. Yeah, fuck your amazing outcome. There's gonna be like like hordes of like Chinese and Korean students who have way more amazing outcomes than you. So don't fight on outcomes anyway. It's just like such a, because the consulting agencies in Korea and China and New York and parts of the world, they just like pump these kids. They just like jack these kids with like these like with like these steroids. You know what I mean? So just again, if you try to fight with that, you're gonna end up sounding less interesting. Same reason that international students have to apply to 25 universities. Not 100% sure what that's referring to. So I'm just gonna move on. 1580 for comp sci. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that is accurate, right? That's insane. Martin is saying MIT is no longer test option. That is correct. MIT, I respect. I kind of wish UChicago would follow suit because UChicago is one of the schools that I think are likely to follow suit. So I strongly respect MIT for doing that. Am I applying this year to universities? Wait, Vic Style, are you asking me if I'm applying to universities? Dude, I went to University of Chicago in like 10 years ago, so no, I'm not applying to universities. Like, no, I'm old, dude. But thank you for confusing me for a student. Does SAT work for Canada? I mean, like Canada itself, the country? It's like, hello. Hello, immigration. Here's my SAT score. Can I just hop into your country? If you're asking about like if it works for Canadian universities, I think they do. But I don't know the details honestly. Yeah, I am. Rafaya, I think, is referring to me being salty about like the test optional policies. But yeah, I definitely am salty. I am not 19. Yeah, I am not 19. I am far, far older than 19. That's kind of insane. You guys hang on. You guys were born. Hang on, I'm trying to think. This is 2022, so you guys were born like 2005 or something. That's insane. That's freaking insane. Hang on, am I like twice as old as you guys? Let me think about this. If you guys are 17, I'm basically close to. Yeah, I'm almost twice as old as you guys. Dude, that's insane. Okay, well. Let me see if I can catch up on some Discord chats. I basically am a boomer. Like I am so old compared to you guys. Every single one. That is like in depth by every single. Maybe it. You. Okay, so yeah, that's that. And hang on, let me see. Still no. What? You know nothing about my life, dude. Oh my god, you kids. Wait, is this QAS? Dude, no one's enforcing. Hang on, how long ago was this? This was some couple hours ago. Spicy cake and mango. Was everyone talking just a bit ago? No, this is a while back. And they're not even, yeah, they're not even online. I'm gonna come back in 1 minute. Oh, whoops. Oh no, if I do that, that's gonna make things weird. Yeah, it's just that like even if the questions shared were from recent years, if they don't confirm, like I'm not gonna go and like try to remember which is what. Like it's on you guys to share the source if you don't want to get deleted. Like it's just like how's everyone gonna remember which tests are from when? So that's like insane. Okay. Actually, there's not that many questions on Discord, so there's not much to say there. I'll just answer whatever questions over here. He's the only one. Any injection for SAT reading? Adderall. Recent years. Where do you live? Wait. Is Sheik hitting on Rafai? Anyway, let's go. Is there a way a student can apply with 3.6 GPA and MB? What is MB? A strong SAT score to an Ivy or Tier 1 college? Dude, I'm not a college consultant, so I'm gonna just say I don't know. But here's a quick answer. Like, yeah, but it really depends. The 3.6 GPA does not live in a vacuum. If you're a 3.6 GPA in like one of the hardest schools in the world and 3.6 means you're like a fucking genius, then yeah. If you're 3.6 GPA in a normal American public school and you took zero AP classes and you took zero honors classes, then hell no. Like 3.6 doesn't mean anything by itself. Like 3.6 in context of everything that you've done, in the context of the school that you're at, that's what makes sense. That so you have to really ask yourself like, I mean, honestly, I mean, obviously, this is not easy for you to answer on your own, but like you have to be just thinking about, you have to be thinking about like, am I top 1% in the world? Like you kind of have to just, if you want to get to Ivy League, you need to sort of be top 1% in the world, um, academically, and so you need to just prove that to yourself and to the universities that you basically are top 1% in the world. You're capable of top 1% education. You're capable of a very very grueling academic curriculum. You need to like answer that for yourself somehow. It's not just the GPA. It's not just the SAT score. Although the SAT score does help a lot. So so stay aware of that. But yeah, I mean, if you, yeah, you really got to have that. I like 3.6 by itself doesn't mean anything. So just be careful. Like I'm just very hesitant to say anything about that. Saul starting his own. Yeah, no, I'm never gonna do a consulting firm. College consulting is like not my bag. I do not love college consulting. I love teaching. Oh, mango and spicy cake. Thank you. Okay. Yep. Marry you. I mean, I'm kind of taken, dude. But you know, you were next in line. You're number two in my heart. Let's see, Hana. What is Hana? All right, I have no idea what's going on with this. Vaguely Indonesian sounding language. I don't know what the hell is going on. Okay. So I think that's it for today. Looks like there's no other questions. I want to go to sleep. So guys, if you're taking the SAT in, like less than 12 hours, good luck. If you're taking the SAT in more than 12 hours, I think I'll actually stream one more time when I wake up. So you guys out in the Western Hemisphere, you guys, if you have more questions to ask me, you can ask me then. For everyone who is in the Eastern Hemisphere, right? Good luck on the test tomorrow. Don't freak out so much. Going over the basics of math section, I'm not a math tutor, so I'm not really going to say anything other than order of operations. Watch my video. Just stabilize your approach, make it repeatable, make it adjustable, make it adaptable. I mean, just focus on controlling what you can control. Don't focus so much on like outcomes that you can't control directly. So stay chill. Remind yourselves that the SAT is just one measure of many, many measures of that indicate the kind of person that you are. Okay, so as long as you're growing, as long as you're learning, as long as you're growing, honestly, in the big picture, in the whole scheme of things, you'll be fine. Okay, you might not get in, even if you don't get into the dream school like your first year, you can still transfer. There's a lot of options. Okay, so just keep learning, keep growing. Things will work out for you. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the next stream. I guess you might be taking the SAT between now and then. So good luck and let me know how it went. Peace out, guys.